In the vastness of the African savanna, two symbols of dominance and ingenuity have carved their names into the story of nature. The Maasai Lion Queen, who leads her pack with power and courage, is the center of collective strength. Meanwhile, the cheetah, the silent predator, lives in a solitary world, but perfect in every move. Without confrontation, each species writes its own legend, blending into the majestic picture of the wilderness. Queen of the Masai Mara. In the endless grasslands of the Masai Mara, where wildebeests cross rivers, zebras march across scorched lands, and cheetahs dart like arrows, nature tells the story of harsh survival every day. Amidst it all, the lions, the supreme rulers, roar to assert their power. And, among them, there is an unforgettable legend, Sienna, the uncrowned queen of the Masai Mara, where survival is instinct and legacy is eternal. In the vast grasslands of the Masai Mara, as the sunset painted the sky a brilliant orange, the silence was suddenly broken by the majestic roar of a strange male lion. Finally, the male lion was defeated, forced to flee, leaving a trail of defeat. After the victory, Sienna's pride rested under a large tree. The moonlight illuminating her proud scarred coat. Though lying still, Sienna's eyes seemed lost in childhood memories. She remembers her early days when she was a lion cub, trotting alongside her mother on the green grasslands. Sienna's childhood memories come back to her so clearly, as if those days had just passed. As a tiny cub, she lived with her mother and siblings in the lush grasslands of the Masai Mara. Life seemed peaceful at first, with each passing day filled with carefree play among the pride. under the loving protection of her mother. Sienna's mother was a strong lioness, not only leading the pride, but also a model of sacrifice and courage. But life in the wild was never truly peaceful. One morning, as the sun was just rising, the pride was attacked by a pack of ferocious hyenas. Sienna's mother's roar tore through the air, alerting the entire pride to prepare for battle. The attackers, with hungry eyes and savage laughter, charged forward with the intention of taking both prey and territory. Sienna was too young to understand the danger, and she crouched under her mother's belly, her eyes wide with fear. Through those difficult childhood days, Sienna learned the most important lesson. Strength lies not only in muscles or roars, but also in courage, patience, and leadership. These memories became a smoldering fire within her, forging the will that would later make Sienna a true queen of the Masai Mara. However, all lions must grow up, and for Sienna, the day of leaving the pride came sooner than she thought. As she entered her teens, she began to sense changes in the pride's behavior. The adult lionesses began to act distant, while the older males became increasingly aggressive. Sienna's mother, though loving, knew that it was time for her daughter to step into her own world. One morning, as the dawn turned the grasslands golden, Sienna left the pride. She turned her head to look back one last time, seeing her mother standing in the distance, her eyes filled with both pride and longing. With her supple legs and sharp eyes, Sienna began her own journey across the endless grasslands. That was when she officially entered the harsh world, where life and death were always intertwined. Along the way, Sienna began to encounter other lionesses who were also searching for a pride. After much observation and close contact, she convinced several of the younger lionesses to join her. Their small group became a fledgling pride, with Sienna taking the natural leadership role due to her hunting experience and assertiveness. The Masai Mara sky was bright in the midday sun, a gentle breeze sweeping across the grasslands, swaying the tall grass like waves. Sienna's pride moved in silence, each step light but calculated. In the distance, a large herd of zebras grazed, completely unaware that the predators had their eyes on them. After the battle, Sienna began to lead the Marsh Pride in hunting and defending their territory. She showed superiority not only in strength, but also in strategy. She systematically organizes hunts, choosing the right time and target to ensure the herd always has enough food. During Sienna's time leading the herd, she and her members have successfully hunted hundreds of animals, from small wildebeests to powerful zebras and even buffalo, a challenge for any pride of lions. Sienna has always been at the heart of these hunts, not only with strength, but also with strategy. In more than a decade as leader, her herd has taken down more than 500 prey, ensuring an abundant food supply to nurture new generations and maintain the strength of the herd. Under Sienna's leadership, the herd has not only survived, but also expanded its territory impressively. Starting from a small patch of grassland, the herd's territory has expanded to over 50 square kilometers in areas rich in food and water resources. To do this, Sienna led the pride through many challenges, from chasing away other prides, confronting dangerous male lion alliances, to defending the territory against poachers. Over time, under Sienna's leadership, the marsh pride became stronger and more stable than ever. But for a female leader, it is not only the protection of the territory and the leadership of the pride that is important, but also the maintenance of the next generation is a sacred mission. One day, when the rainy season began to fall on the Masai Mara grasslands, Sienna left the pride in silence. She chose a secluded corner in the dense bush, sheltered by low acacia trees, to welcome her first cubs. In the silence of the morning, Sienna gave birth to 4 tiny lion cubs. They were weak and clumsy, lying around in their mother's pale yellow fur. Each movement of the cubs was a testament to the fragility of life, but Sienna's gaze as she looked at her cubs was filled with determination. She gently licked each cub's fur, helping them acclimate to their new world and affirming the unbreakable bond between mother and cub. Sienna led her young cubs back to the pride. The other members, after the initial awkwardness, quickly accepted the leader's cubs. This was a huge advantage, as the whole pride would help protect and care for the cubs, increasing their chances of survival. Sienna began teaching her children their first lessons in survival. She took them hunting, initially small prey like rabbits or birds, so they could learn how to approach and stalk. Gradually, she introduced them to larger hunts, helping them learn to coordinate and attack effectively. Sienna taught her children not only hunting skills, but also the carefulness to recognize enemies and protect their territory. The morning sun gradually rose, dyeing the Masai Mara grasslands golden, signaling the beginning of a new day. Sienna opened her eyes, the soft sunlight filtering through the bushes, making her golden fur shine like gold. She raised her head, took a deep breath of the fresh air, feeling life springing up throughout the land she called home. Memories of her childhood, her days of wandering alone, and her journey to becoming a leader flashed through her mind as a reminder of what had passed and what lay ahead. But Sienna didn't let herself dwell on her memories for long. Her responsibilities as a leader didn't allow her to stop. She stood up, her posture dignified, and turned back to her pack. The pack members were scattered in the shade of the trees, but all eyes were on Sienna. A new day had begun, and Sienna, the queen of the Masai Mara, was once again writing her story of survival and domination on this endless grassland. In the gentle dawn light of the Serengeti, wildlife awakens. Herds of Thompson's gazelles skip across the grasslands, and zebras nibble on fresh grass in peace. On the riverbank, a herd of elephants bask in the cool water, while the chatter of kingfishers echoes from the lush green trees. But within the dense undergrowth, a silent figure moves. The leopard, the master hunter of the jungle, silently begins her day. Under the dense canopy of the Serengeti, a female leopard deftly navigates her challenging life. With her graceful movements, she is not only a dangerous predator, but also a devoted mother. She has raised her only cub, a year-old cub, from the most vulnerable days of her childhood. The cub is now grown, its yellow and black mottled fur starting to resemble its mother's, but its playful and curious nature remains intact. It plays by the dry tree roots, stalks stray butterflies, and sometimes misses even the leaves falling in the wind. But for the mother, every moment is tense. Her eyes constantly scan the surroundings, her ears prick up to catch the slightest sound, because the jungle is not only home, but also a place where danger always lurks. For the mother, life is not just about hunting, but also about protecting her cub from larger predators. From ferocious hyenas to fearsome lions, every enemy can threaten the survival of the child she's raising. The scene shifts to the mother and cub hunting. She leads her cubs silently through the tall grass, gentle but focused. She pauses, her eyes locking on a herd of young antelope grazing in the distance. With incredible patience, she crouched low, approaching step by step, but a noise from afar sent the herd of wildebeests running away in panic. The cub looked at its mother with disappointment, but the mother was undeterred. She led her to a tall tree where food from the previous hunt was safely hung on its branches. Not far from where the mother and her cub were sheltering, the sounds of the forest rang out vividly. A troop of black and white colobus monkeys swung from branch to branch, their calls echoing through the air. At the foot of the forest, a herd of impalas grazed quietly, their ears always alert for potential dangers. The wildebeest migration season had passed, leaving the Serengeti grasslands in a rare state of tranquility. But for the mother, this peace was only superficial. The first rains of the season had completely transformed the landscape. Small streams that had once been dry riverbeds had now become rushing streams, creating large lakes. Everywhere, animals gathered to take advantage of the abundant water and fresh green grass. In this scene, the mother leopard was hunting alone, her son now foraging for food on his own. She moved silently through the bushes, her sharp eyes scanning the land before her. But this time, her focus did not seem to be on the hunt. She stopped occasionally, using her claws and urine to mark her territory. This was a signal that she was ready for a big change. The scent that the mother leopard left behind was an invitation to the adult males. In the world of leopards, this was the female leopard's way of announcing that she was in heat. Not long after the invitation was answered, a male leopard appeared. With a thick, powerful neck, a graceful yet majestic gait, he moved closer, following her scent. It was a rare sight when a female leopard and a male leopard met in peace. Under the canopy of the humid rainforest, they began their mating journey, a ritual that was not only to maintain the breed, but also a symbol of power and succession. The adult male leopard was tasked with patrolling a vast territory, covering many female leopard territories. His life was a never-ending cycle, survival and reproduction. As night fell, the growls and sounds of leopard mating echoed throughout the forest. But this noise not only attracted the attention of the surrounding species, but also alerted a lioness hunting nearby. She slowly approached, her golden eyes glowing in the darkness. The appearance of the lions brought the honeymoon to an abrupt end. The female leopard quietly retreated, returning to familiar territory, while the male leopard faced his larger opponent. The cub's first hunt was not only successful, but also confirmed the instincts and strength that his mother had taught him. From then on, he was no longer a dependent child, but a true hunter. As the afternoon sun gradually faded, the cub lay beside the carcass of his prey, enjoying the first meal he had hunted himself. In his eyes, there was not only pride, but also determination. This was the time for him to leave his mother and begin his own journey. The mother continued her journey, raising a new generation, protecting her territory and lineage. In the jungles of the Serengeti, she was still the silent queen, the one who wrote the mysterious and seductive story of the leopard. As darkness fell over the Serengeti, the cub left the hunting ground, not looking back. Ahead of it are endless fields, full of challenges and opportunities to build your own territory. Africa, the struggle for survival of the hunters and the hunted. In the vast grasslands of the Serengeti, life is a fragile struggle. For one of nature's most elegant predators, the leopard, every step is a challenge, every hunt a battle for survival. Sahara, a young mother leopard, is entering the most important stage of her life. After many days of wandering the grasslands of the Serengeti, she has found a dense bush hidden in the valley, where she has decided to build a nest. With great caution, Sahara checks her surroundings to make sure no predators are following her. Then begins to dig a small den in the soft soil. Her rapid breathing, her sharp but tired eyes, show that she is ready to take on a new challenge, giving birth. Not long after, the first cub is born. With a small body, wet fur, the baby leopard was gently licked clean by Sahara's loving tongue, helping to stimulate blood circulation and start a new life. One by one, 3 more cubs were born, each of them carefully cared for by her. In the warm nest, 4 little leopards lay close to their mother, making weak cries, finding their way to the warm milk. Curled up to protect her cubs, Sahara's eyes shone with determination. She knew that from this moment on, every action she took would determine the survival of these little creatures in the harsh, wild world. After weeks of caring for the weak cubs, Sahara sensed that the time was approaching to return them to her extended family. The cubs were now open-eyed and strong enough to move around. They began to play, scratch at the grass, and snuggle up to their mother for protection. With a strong survival instinct, Sahara decided to leave her current hiding place to find safer ground, where her big family was waiting. It was a group of other mother leopards who were also raising their cubs, forming a small community to protect them from the dangers of the grasslands. That morning, as the sun was just rising over the Serengeti sky, Sahara gently woke each cub with a deep cry. The cubs, though small, were more agile than before, following their mother through the tall grass. The journey back was not easy. Sahara was always alert, her ears erect to listen for any unusual sounds. Whenever she sensed danger, she signaled her cubs to lie down on the grass, her body shielding them from the predator's eyes. When the silhouette of a pack of hyenas appeared in the distance, Sahara immediately led her cubs to a detour, away from them. The mother cheetah knows that, with just a little mistake, her cubs could become the target of any predator. However, the journey has its moments of adoration. The cubs, seeing long-tailed birds flying over the grasslands for the first time, cannot hide their curiosity. They trot after them, but Sahara quickly brings them back into formation, keeping them in sight. On the golden grasslands, where the Serengeti sun beats down on the moving herds of wildebeest, Sahara leads 3 other mothers on a big hunt. This is an opportunity for not only Sahara, but also the mother community to provide enough nutrition for the growing cubs. In the Serengeti grasslands, amid the ever-present dangers, Sahara and her extended family, 3 mothers and nearly a dozen cubs, form a special close-knit community. In the gentle light of dawn, The cheetahs begin their day. Sahara and two other mothers care for the cubs, each running and playing with innocent joy. One cub trots after its siblings' tails, while another climbs onto its mother's back as if to tease her. Sahara gently licks one cub's fur, her eyes always scanning the surroundings carefully to ensure safety. The little cheetahs, with their distinctive spotted fur, just old enough to explore on their own, chase each other through the tall grass, leaping and rolling on the ground. One cub tried to jump onto the back of its siblings, but failed. While another happily ran after a leaf blown by the wind. Sahara stood at a distance, her eyes full of vigilance, but she could not hide her pride as she watched her cubs grow up day by day. While playing, one cub suddenly stopped, her ears perked up, her eyes fixed on a distant target, a baby antelope that had just separated from the herd. The other cubs quickly noticed, their eyes shining with excitement. Without saying a word, they all approached the prey, step by step, as their mother had taught them. The group crouched low to the ground, moving silently through the tall grass, keeping absolutely silent. This was the first time they had tried their hand at a real prey, and excitement and anticipation filled every movement. As the antelope lay motionless on the ground, the cubs gasped for breath, their eyes shining with excitement and pride. They began to tear apart their spoils, eating with the eagerness of first-time hunters. Sahara stepped closer, gently examining the prey and licking each cub's fur as if to congratulate them. Although the meal was still clumsy, this was the first step marking their maturity in this harsh world. On a peaceful morning in the Serengeti grasslands, Sahara decided to teach her cubs an important lesson: how to climb trees. Although cheetahs are not known for their climbing skills, this ability is sometimes a vital factor, helping them escape dangerous enemies or observe their prey from above. Sahara, through instinct and experience, knew that this was a skill that her cubs needed to protect themselves. As time passed, Sahara's cubs gradually matured, overcoming the challenging early months of their lives to become real hunters. From small, weak creatures, they gradually transformed day by day, carrying within them the strength and skills that Sahara taught with all the love and patience of a mother. When they were almost 2 years old, the cubs were ready to leave their mother. Their fur was now smooth, their appearance majestic, and their legs powerful. The image of true hunters. Sahara led them to a vast grassland, where each individual would choose their own path. The two female leopard sisters separated from the first group, leaving to find their own territory. The stronger male leopard confidently walked in another direction, with eyes determined to build an alliance and protect the new territory. Sahara stood from afar, watching their every step, not calling them back, just silently watching. In her eyes, there was not only regret, but also the belief that they would live strong and independent. Among the cubs, a female leopard stood out above all, agile, intelligent, and steadfast. Even as a child, her eyes had a special light, as if she had been chosen by fate to do something extraordinary. She would become one of the greatest hunters in the Serengeti, a symbol of speed, intelligence, and power across the vast grasslands. Sahara turned and walked slowly into the sunset. She was no longer a guiding mother, but had fulfilled her mission to raise a new generation of bravery. Under the scorching sun of the Namib desert, where the world's tallest sand dunes stretch endlessly, a majestic figure emerges against the golden sky. A majestic figure emerges against the golden sky. That is the Oryx, the scimitar-horned Oryx, a symbol of strength and resilience. Oryx, the scimitar-horned Oryx, is a symbol of adaptability and strength in the harsh environment of the Namib desert. The light brown fur with black streaks running along the body not only creates a majestic beauty, but also helps them camouflage and reduce heat absorption from the sun. The long, straight, sharp horns, which can reach 1.2 meters, are a self-defense weapon against predators such as lions or hyenas, and also play an important role in territorial disputes. The strong hooves help the Oryx move easily through soft sand and rough terrain, a great advantage in the harsh desert environment. The Oryx's extraordinary survival ability is demonstrated by a unique cooling mechanism in its circulatory system, which protects its brain from temperatures as high as 46 degrees Celsius, a level that many other animals cannot withstand. Oryx can live for weeks without drinking water directly, thanks to absorbing water from food such as dry grass and succulents. Large eyes placed high on the head allow them to observe 360 degrees, detecting predators from afar, while sensitive ears and sense of smell help them locate food sources effectively. With the ability to move dozens of kilometers per day, Oryx maintain impressive endurance and are often active during the cool times of the day. When faced with danger, they do not easily run away but are ready to confront, making many predators wary. These outstanding biological characteristics not only help Oryx survive, but also contribute to maintaining ecological balance in desert ecosystems, enriching the soil and supporting the growth of vegetation. Oryx are a living testament to the wonders of evolution and the power of nature. Oryx are gregarious animals, usually living in herds of 10 to 30 individuals. Herds are not only a place to help them fight off enemies, but also a protection against the harshness of the environment. Adult males often play the role of territorial guardians, using their sharp horns to confront threats. During the dry season, they travel dozens of kilometers a day in search of dry grass and scarce food sources. Under the harsh sunlight of the Namib desert, a herd of oryx grazes on a dry grassland. The rustling of the wind through the thorn bushes and yellow grasses forms the background of a peaceful scene. The herd, with their majestic appearance and bright coats, moves in a tight group, their sharp eyes always alert. But, in the silence of the afternoon, a danger is lurking. Not far away, a group of lionesses were lying low in the bushes, their cold eyes fixed on the oryx herd. With their sturdy, muscular bodies hidden under their pale yellow fur, they moved in absolute silence, gradually closing the distance. Leading the group, an experienced lioness gave a slight signal, and the whole pride was ready for the hunt. The lion's roar rang out, signaling the success of the hunt. The other lions immediately gathered, starting to share the spoils. Under the blazing sun, the remaining oryx herd was safe in the distance, watching the place where the hunt had just ended. They continued their journey in search of grass and water, leaving the predator to finish its meal. In the harsh world of the Namib desert, every day was a battle for survival, where life and death blended into an endless natural cycle. In the harshness of the Namib desert, where scorching heat and scarcity prevail, life still finds a way to survive. During the rare rainy season, when brief rains bring life to the dry, grassy plains, the oryx herd enters its breeding season, a time of hope for a new generation. Females are pregnant for around 8 months, a long time compared to many other mammals, to ensure that their young are born during the rainy season, when vegetation is at its lushest. Mother oryxes often choose secluded areas, located near large bushes or on wind-sheltered sand dunes, to give birth, away from the prying eyes of predators. When a baby oryx is born, it must immediately learn to stand on its slender but powerful legs. Within minutes, the young can take its first steps, because life in the desert does not allow for delays. The cub's big round eyes and pricked ears always watch their mothers closely, learning how to survive in harsh environments. The mother oryx always keeps her cubs in sight, never moving more than a few meters away. Whenever there is a sign of danger, she will quickly stand between her cubs and the threat, using her long, sharp horns to protect her cubs. When necessary, the mother oryx is ready to fight fiercely with predators, from hyenas to leopards, to ensure the safety of her cubs. During the first few weeks, the cubs only drink their mother's milk, a valuable source of nutrition that helps them grow quickly and accumulate energy. After about a month, they begin to graze, learning how to find food under the guidance of their mother and the herd. The cubs grow up under the protection of the herd, learning how to move, find food sources, and avoid predators. In particular, they are soon introduced to the exploitation of succulent plants such as tsama melon for water, an important survival skill in arid environments. After about 6 months, the young oryx are big enough to keep up with the herd on long migrations. They begin to train their endurance, trying out longer trips in search of vegetation. Although still following their mother, the young oryx become increasingly independent, preparing for the challenging journey of adulthood ahead. While oryx, the scimitar-horned antelope, are known for their extraordinary adaptability, they still face increasing threats in the modern world. Habitat changes due to climate change, illegal hunting and competition from humans have significantly reduced oryx populations in many places. Climate change is the greatest threat to oryx. The already dry Namib desert has become even more hostile, with prolonged droughts and dwindling food sources. Oryx are forced to travel farther in search of food and water, increasing the risk of encountering predators or becoming exhausted along the way. In response to these threats, many conservation efforts have been implemented. Large nature reserves in Namibia, such as Etosha National Park and the Namib Naukluft Conservation Area, have become safe havens for oryx. These areas not only protect them from threats, but also provide a favorable environment for the population to thrive. International and local conservation organizations are also working closely to raise public awareness of the important role of oryx in the ecosystem. Releases of oryx from captive breeding programs have helped to restore populations in some areas. As the sun sets over the red dunes of the Namib desert, the silhouettes of oryx emerge against the sky, creating a scene both majestic and peaceful. These desert warriors are not only a symbol of resilience, but also a reminder of nature's vulnerability to threats.